Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a reminder to please wear your mask over your mouth and your nose while inside for the entire service. Also, please silence your cell phones and turn off your Wi-Fi connections. Welcome to the worship service of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lakeland. I am Heather Norby, the Spiritual Life Director for this fantastic congregation, and I use the pronouns she and her. We are glad you are here, whether in person or virtually. UUCL is a thriving community, and whatever your gender identity, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, abilities, or theological beliefs, you are welcome here. We would love to get to know you better, so please join us after the service on the patio, or if you are on Zoom, please say hello through the chat feature. We publish a newsletter every Wednesday, and it is the main source of information for what goes on around here, so be sure to sign up. If you already receive it, be sure to read it to find out about all the great things that go on around here. Of special note, you, all of you, are invited to a brainstorming party this Friday here on our patio around a fire. The worship committee wants your creative ideas to get to know your spiritual yearnings and to dream with you so we can create the most meaningful and memorable worship services together. We will be looking at the themes that are planned for the months of December to March, and we are looking for your ideas and visions so we can select readings, images, stories, scripture, decorations, metaphors, music, and more. So please check the newsletter for more details, and let's hope it doesn't rain. Speaking of the worship committee, I would like to give a great big thank you to all who work so hard to make these worship services happen and to ensure that we keep getting better at it in this new age of pandemic technology and delivery. So thank you to Petra Sussman, our worship committee chair, to Glenda Littlehouse for coordinating greeters and ushers, to Adam Hargrove, our music director, Justin Neal, who unravels what I perceive as the mystery of all the moving parts in the tech room, Vaisal Dokur, who helps him with that, and Brandon Knuckles, also in the tech room and who designs all of our visual elements. And of course, to all the other folks who show up at our meetings and volunteer to be worship associates, ushers, and chalice lighters. It's a big team. Go team. And of course, the team always welcomes new, interested people to join us. This is certainly one way to live into our UUCL mission statement of love plus connection equals transformation.
Where do we come from? 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 Where do we come from?
Here, we remember ourselves by the Reverend Gretchen Haley. Give up the fight for some other moment, some other life. Then here and now, give up the longing for some other world, the wishing for other choices to make other songs, to sing other bodies, other ages, other countries, other stakes. Purge the past, forgive the future, for each come too soon. Surrender only to this life, this day, this hour, not because it does not constantly break your heart, but because it also beckons with beauty, startles with delight, if only we keep waking up. This is the gift we have been given, these body clothes, this heartbreak, this pulse, this breath, this light, these friends, this hope. Here we remember ourselves, all a part of it all, giving thanks and centering joy. Come, let us worship together. Just as our congregations across the country and even around the world are lighting their chalices this morning, so will we light ours and create sacred space. Today our chalice lighter is Mary St. Denis, and Jenni Warren will read our chalice lighting words.
Legacy by Reverend Paul Sprescher. We light this chalice to honor the memory of those who have come before us, kindling flames of wisdom in dark times, willing to challenge orthodoxy even at great personal risk, giving us a legacy of freedom and a love of truth, a legacy that warms our hearts and lights our paths. Please join us in signing Spirit of Life, Hymn 123.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
This is the hour that we gather to contemplate the mysteries of life and to feel the gratitude of being able to approach this holy task together. We gather around the flame of our chalice, a symbol that reminds us of the power that we hold when we connect to one another with love as our guide. Fire is a power that connects us. It is a power that has stayed with humanity throughout time and space. Fire is a gift when we are careful about our tending to it, but it can also be a curse if we let it go beyond its life-sustaining boundaries. Fire is a power that can heal and bring joy, or it can harm and destroy. Fire is a power of life and of death. Today, we will raise our awareness of the metaphorical fire we each have within us, that which is the center of who we are, our sense of purpose, and our ability to motivate ourselves. May we seek to gain a better understanding of who we are and how to tend to ourselves so that our impact on history grows a divine vision of love and hope. If we don't tend to our own fires, they go out and leave us feeling sorrowful about our own selves. If we let our fires get out of control, we might seek to power over others, harming and destroying relationships. Thus, it has been throughout history. Like fire, if we don't tend to or control ourselves, shaping ourselves around our values, we scorch the fabric of history, leaving our descendants with the work of reconciliation. We ourselves are in the midst of a time in need of much reconciliation. And so, as with any changes we want to see in the world, we must start with ourselves, tending to our own fires. Our 8th UU principle seeks to fulfill the promise to accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Within ourselves is where we begin this morning. Let us turn now to honor the weaving of joys and sorrows throughout our lives. This week has brought us heavy sorrows. Our member, Crystal Norman, is suffering the loss of her 27-year-old nephew, Tyler, who was killed in a car accident last Sunday. She is in Georgia with her sister and her family. Today is his memorial service. Our beloved member, Ted Delaney, passed away very early Thursday morning. I am working with his wife, Faye, on a celebration of life service. It will be this Friday, November 12th, here at UUCL in the afternoon, and you are all invited to come. Please check the newsletter this Wednesday for the exact time. So we will invite you up today to the chalice table to place stones into our basket of sand or to light a candle in honor of our beloveds. If you are on Zoom, we will say your name and put a stone in for you so that we know that you are here with us and so you know that we are together. If you do not want your name said, please say so in the chat. place a stone in for those members on Zoom? Judy Powell, Maggie McClelland, Sarah Drum, Sherry Murray. We are glad to be together. "96-year-old Lebanese-American poet, philosopher, and painter Etel Adnan once wrote, "Memory and time, both immaterial, are rivers with no banks and constantly merging. Both escape our will, though we depend on them. Measured, but measured by whom or by what? The one is inside, the other outside, or so it seems, but is that true? Time seems also buried deep in us, but where? Memory is right here in the head, but it can exit, abandon the head, leave it behind, disappear. Memory, a sanctuary of infinite patience. Is memory produced by us, or is it us? Our identity is very likely whatever our memory decides to retain. But let's not presume that memory is a storage room. It's not a tool for being able to think. It's thinking before thinking. It also makes an apparently simple thing like crossing the room possible. It's impossible to separate it from what it remembers. We can admit that memory resurrects the dead, but these remain within their world, not ours. The universe covers the whole, a warm blanket, but this memory is the glue that keeps the universe as one. Although immaterial, it makes being possible. It is being. If an idea didn't remember to think, it wouldn't be. If a chair wasn't there, it wouldn't be tomorrow. If I didn't remember that I am, I won't be. We can also say that the universe is itself the glue that keeps it going. Therefore, it is memory in action and in essence, in becoming and in being. Because it remembers itself, it exists. Because it exists, it remembers. When we hold history, we hold memory. Our spiritual explorations for November will lead us on a journey of questioning our histories and our memories. How do we hold history? Open our hearts to it. Grieve it, honor it, reconcile with those most deeply affected by its worst moments, and learn to empower ourselves for ourselves, our community, and to bring more justice to the world. Today we will start with ourselves as Jenni leads us to an understanding of how to balance the energies within our bodies. Today's journey is located in your solar plexus, in your belly, just underneath your rib cage. It's the third chakra associated with the color yellow. Jenni will provide us with a framework related to this third chakra for how we can think about our personal histories and memories and how they make us who we are as an individual. Let us first consider a theology that takes into consideration the very deep and expansive web of time, one that defines our beingness as the culmination of events. Thus, relationality is a core reality of this way of thinking of the divine. This is the divine, God, Goddess, spirit of life, whatever you do or do not name it, as a verb, as something that exists right here with us, not as a separate being somewhere above and beyond. This theology posits the divine as change and creativity, as a process, the process that is the universe. Alfred North Whitehead, father of process theology, taught that nothing happens independent of the past. Patterns do not spring into existence out of nothingness. They arise as the result of repetitions and alterations of prior patterns. However, patterns are always subject to change. The introduction of even one small element that varies the pattern affects the whole. Nothing exists in a state of eternal or universal absoluteness. Every event, from a single buzz of one electron to a complex human decision, reflects the past and yet opens into a future marked by new possibilities and creative potential. What does it mean then to exist as a thinking being in such a reality? It means that every choice you make arises out of the past, which is now an objective reality, a vast complex of information and data that present events are created from. Your brain, your memory, filters through what you know of the past, taking in some parts of events and moments in time and ignoring others. Your experience thus becomes subjective, and from this you can repeat patterns of behavior or create novel events, adding to and connecting with the whole history of the universe. That's amazingly powerful. It's awe-inspiring. It matters what you do. You are a part of the divine process and the universal whole, according to process theology. And what you do is based on what you believe. And what you believe is centered in your values. And your beliefs feed your values, and all of this has evolved out of past events. Let's return to our image of fire. Fire sustains and destroys. Fire connects humanity with history. Imagine, if you will, a fire in your belly. It is your passion, your motivation, the essential you connected with the whole history of the universe. How does your fire feel right now? Does it feel low and in need of fuel? Or is it out of control and burning? Burning you, burning those around you? Or maybe it is just right and ready to introduce novelty into this world for good. After almost 2 years of a pandemic, most of us have not been able to escape some sort of stress, anxiety, depression, or trauma. These are inescapable realities of life as it is, now magnified by this pandemic in multiple ways, rippling through space and time and becoming a part of who and what humanity is. These things affect that fire in our belly. Let us return to our histories, our memories, to help us recover what can sustain us. I invite you to ponder these questions as a way to refuel your fire, your passions, and your whole self. What memory do you have that holds your truest self? What memories help you hold on to yourself? Just take a moment to breathe through the questions. And Jenni will lead us on the journey of the third chakra.
All the elements of your body were forged many, many millions of years ago in the heart of a faraway star that exploded and died. That explosion scattered those elements across the desolations of deep space. After so many million years, these elements came together to form new stars and new planets, and on it went. The elements came together and burst apart, forming shoes and ships and sealing wax and cabbages and kings, until eventually they came together to make you. You are unique to the universe. There is only one of you, and there will never be another. Or to put it another way, there is no one alive who is youer than you. Just kind of depends on your fictional theology. This week in therapy, my therapist gave me the following homework. Journal about who you really are and what things make you uniquely Jenni. The funny thing is, this is the second time she's given me this assignment. So obviously, I'm still learning. But I want you to take a moment and ask yourself the same question. What things are unique about you? What elements come together to create your truest self? And finally, and this is the hard one, are you letting those elements be visible to the rest of the world? When is the last time that you felt comfortable in your own skin? The Manipura chakra is connected to fire, the source most vital for all living things. Without fire, we have no warmth, our food sources quickly dwindle, and we have no light. I always connect that to when people say something to the effect of, let your light shine, which growing up as a Southern Baptist, I heard a lot. When your third chakra is in its prime, it's like your inner fire is lit. Your true self is shining through for the rest of the world to see. So what is it like when it's blocked? It can feel like the light inside of you is blocked. In the thick of a depressive episode a few weeks ago, I described it as feeling like I was being covered up by a weighted blanket, and not in the good, comfortable way. When our third chakra is blocked, we can feel lethargic, heavy, bloated, and powerless, which connects to another thing that the third chakra is directly connected to, which is your gut, which is why a blockage in it can result in you feeling lethargic or bloated. When you're working with a cleared third chakra, your digestive fires are awake, and in addition, so is your gut instinct, that little voice inside your head that says, do this, or don't do this. Listening to your gut instinct and knowing your truth comes with having a cleared third chakra. Additionally, it connects with your ability to digest food and information. Biologically, the third chakra is at the center of our navel and connected to our nervous systems. The sympathetic nervous system is the main connection for the solar plexus chakra, which is responsible for our fight or flight response. When you experience trauma or stress, the body involuntarily prepares for that trauma by releasing hormones in the body which stimulate the adrenal glands, which you may remember discussing our very first week when I introduced the root chakra. This release of chemicals can result in an increased heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing. In exploring therapy and mental health over the past 2 years, because what else do you do in a pandemic, I have discovered that this idea has been built on to include 4 responses: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. When the body is faced with trauma, it will either face the threat, run away from it, freeze without the ability to move or act, or immediately act in a way that attempts to avoid conflict or issues. And I can definitely relate to the fawn response. I have lived in that response for a decent amount of my life. But is that my true self? Being a people pleaser means that if everyone around me was happy, that I was also allowed to be happy. But is that really my truth? Of course not. My happiness and your happiness is not contingent on the people around you. I am not somehow less of a person just because I cannot make a certain person happy. That is not truth. The third chakra is also connected to your vagus nerve, which is the main nerve connected to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest, reproduce, and heal portion of your autonomic nervous system. Y'all didn't know y'all were getting a science lesson today, did you? The vagus nerve starts at the base of the brain and travels down the body, connecting to organs needed for speech, and then it passes through the heart and the lungs, down through the diaphragm, and finally branching onto the organs of the digestive system. The vagus nerve is 90% sensory, meaning it primarily transmits information regarding the state and condition of structures it's connected to directly to the brain. The parasympathetic nervous system is energetically connected to the moon, calming and nurturing, resting, digesting, while the sympathetic nervous system is connected to the sun, fiery, passionate, fight or flight. You need both to work together in order to survive. And each of these systems represent the duality of the sun and the moon and work together to form our third chakra center. The stimulation of these nerves will influence our shape and shape our state of mind and consciousness, our true self. And these systems are involuntary. Therefore, we need to make sure that we are existing in our truest form of ourselves in order to make sure that our body is our own. This energy powerhouse center is our main source of power, self-awareness, and confidence. While our past services have been introspective, the third chakra begins to open the body up to an energetic awakening, which is why today we are doing something called Breath of Fire, which is designed to awaken your center. Breath of Fire is also a really good ab exercise. Whenever I had a yoga class that was focused on opening the third chakra, I was always guaranteed to have a lot of core work and a lot of breath of fire throughout it. I like to use this breathing exercise as an energetic reset, especially when I prepare for experiences that I know may cause stress. For example, if you come in on a day that I'm gonna be up here, you're probably gonna see me on the floor breathing weirdly. That's breath of fire. So yeah, I already did it this morning. Some of the benefits of this breathing exercise include relieving stress, supporting respiratory function, enhancing concentration, increasing mindfulness, improving digestion, and strengthening your abdominal muscles. It is common to sometimes feel lightheaded when doing this breath, so take this exercise as an opportunity to listen to what your body needs. What is your body telling you? If it says, no, I don't want to do this, that's completely okay. You can breathe however you want to during this exercise. There is also some factors that might prevent you from doing the exercise. If you are someone with respiratory issues, who is pregnant or has a heart condition, you may want to opt for just a deep breathing through the nose during this time. But again, listen to yourself because you are your best ally. The best way to begin to learn this breath is by panting, literally like a dog. So you can begin breathing through your mouth and eventually you'll end up breathing through your nose. It's a forceful exhale and a passive inhale. When you exhale, you pull your stomach inward in a quick burst. I forgot how to breathe for a second, y'all. It's okay. Like so. You can also do it sitting. If you want to stand, you can. That's cool. Let the inhale happen naturally and passively. This breath should be coming from your stomach. If it's coming from your chest, that is hyperventilating, and that's not what we want. There should be a fiery feeling in the stomach. So to start, and it might feel weird with masks, but you know, if you'd like to participate, feel free. You're going to literally pant like a dog. And then as you get comfortable, you can close your mouth and move that breath to the nose. And continue doing that. So we'll do one round of it. When we finish, you'll take a deep inhale and hold the breath for as long as you can, and then exhale through the mouth. So you may begin. Inhale through the nose. Hold it and tighten the ab muscles. And then as you are ready, you can exhale out the mouth. So my yoga instructor used to say that was better than coffee. I haven't gotten to that point on the journey, but it is a nice little pick-me-up sometimes. As you go through the world this month, take time for yourself. Take moments in the day to pause and ask yourself, am I being the truest and most authentic version of myself? Is there one aspect of yourself that you've been thinking about opening up to the people around you? A small truth that you've kept hidden or locked away for fear that it won't be accepted or appreciated by those around you? It can be scary to live your truth. It took me almost 30 years to admit some of my truths to myself and to the world. And when I did, some of them were met with anger and confusion by some of the people in my life. But it was also met with acceptance and love and celebration. And it made me appreciate the communities that I have built for myself. It was funny, when you were talking about memories and everything, I was kind of thinking of the journey that this church has been on for the past few years, and how much I've gotten a community from it that was there for me more than I knew that I would need them. Just like the third chakra has the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems, the sun and the moon, your life will have light and dark aspects, bright times and dark times. Growth can be scary and difficult. It can take longer than you want it to. You can always be waiting to get to the good part and not take time to appreciate the work that you're putting in now. Part of stepping into your true identity is unlearning the trauma that has shaped some of the parts of you throughout the years. Unlearning trauma is exhausting, especially if it's generational trauma. And sometimes you might feel like you want to give up. But stepping into your most authentic self and lighting that fire within you and finding your own personal power is one of the best gifts that you can give to yourself and give to the world. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be your true self.
When we give of our time, talents, and treasures, we are giving of ourselves, passing the flame of our being out into the world. As Unitarian Universalists, we seek equality, peace, love, and justice for all. But we know we cannot sit back and wait for it to happen. If we do, the flames will die out. So we give. One way we can give is with our money, a tool for expressing our values and shaping the world. Please give as you can, as our ushers pass the plates. banjo to get that fire growing, right? Please join me in a responsive reading. Your parts will appear on the screen. Not that one. No?
We love a fire. We tend the fires of our history so that all may find peace.
If we don't have them.
Brandon's on the road from Virginia. I just want you to know that.
Yeah,
He's
Zoom
doing
has it and we don't, so give me like 2 seconds and I'll make it.
Okay. He's doing work in the car as he's driving home, so
We love that.
we'll let this one go. He's not the one driving.
I hope he's not driving
I
and
hope
typing at the same time. That seems unsafe.
Yeah.
No, Brandon's not me. I would be doing that, but you know.
Yeah, no. We'll have none of that. Well, your line will be, after Justin quickly puts it together, we tend the fires of our histories so that all may find peace.
We tend the fires of our history.
So that all may find peace.
There's
We'll get
hand
the hang of
movements.
it.
We tend the fires of our history so that all may find peace.
So I'll begin, and then I'll cue you when it's your turn, and we'll remember this together, and Justin will get a slide
It's
up.
gonna be great.
We are connected to the whole history of the universe, from its beginnings and the fires of the stars to the fires of our first human ancestors. We tend the fires of our histories so that all may find peace. We are contributing beings of one interconnected process.
We tend the fires of our histories so that all may find peace.
We each have a fire within us, lit by history, by our ancestors, and the events of their lives.
We tend the fires of our histories so that all may find peace.
If we tend to our fires, we can keep our passion for love and justice alive.
We tend the fires of our histories so that all may find peace.
May we remember to honor the memories we hold so we may honor ourselves.
We tend the fires of our histories so that all may find peace.
If we forget to hold history with an open heart, our fires could get out of hand and harm others. May this beloved community provide us with the reminder we need to stay in covenant with one another.
We tend the fires of our histories so that all may find peace.
Let us create novelty in the universal story that draws upon our deepest values and helps to keep the fires burning in all for peace, equality, justice, and spiritual wholeness.
We tend the fires of our histories so that all may find peace.
May it be so. Please enjoy hymn number 327, sung in German by our very own Glenda Littlehouse.
Color and fragrance, magic.
No, not that one.
Give me 2 seconds.
When did I learn German? I can understand it all.
Oh
Please join me as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.